Former U.S. President Donald Trump appeared in a Manhattan court on Monday with his trial in a civil fraud case against him getting underway. New York's Attorney General Letitia James is seeking at least $250 million in fines, a permanent ban on Trump and his sons Donald Jr. and Eric from running businesses in New York, and a 5-year commercial real estate ban against Trump and the Trump Organization. The central accusation revolves around claims that Trump inflated his assets and net worth between 2011 and 2021 to obtain bank loans and lower insurance premiums. During the opening statements, the state's attorney accused Trump of generating over $100 million through fraudulent means, claiming that he overvalued properties such as Trump Tower and his Mar-a-Lago estate in Florida. Trump's defense team countered the accusation, asserting that his financial practices were entirely legal, emphasizing his expertise in real estate investments. Tensions ran high as Trump criticized the judge, Arthur Engoron, accusing him of bias and interference in the 2024 presidential election. Trump went as far as to say, and I quote, "This is a judge who should be disbarred. He should be out of office." The judge who had found Trump liable for fraud in a previous ruling is now overseeing this trial without a jury. Trump's allegations against Judge Engoron are just one aspect of the ongoing political drama surrounding the case. Trump told reporters before the trial began that the case was a scam, a sham, and political vendetta by Letitia James, the New York state attorney. Later, Trump called James, who is a Democrat, a corrupt person, a terrible person who's driving people out of New York. Now, if found guilty, Trump could face significant legal and financial consequences. Beyond the fines and bans sought by the Attorney General, the judge's previous decision to cancel business certificates for Trump's companies and appoint receivers to oversee their dissolution could have a far-reaching impact on Trump's empire. Trump's defense team maintains that valuation disagreements don't necessarily equate to fraud. The trial is expected to feature testimonies from many financial experts. This trial is just one of several legal challenges that Trump is currently battling. He faces criminal charges in Washington, Georgia, Florida, and New York, covering a range of allegations from election interference to handling classified documents. These legal troubles have made Trump the first sitting or former U.S. president to be criminally charged.
We have a racist attorney general who's a horror show, who ran on the basis that she was going to get Trump before she even knew anything about me. She used this to run for governor. She failed in her attempt to run for governor. She had virtually no polling. She came back and she said, well, now I'll go back to get Trump again. And this is what we have. It's a scam. It's a sham. Perfect. There was no crime. The crime is against me because we have a corrupt district attorney, but we have a corrupt attorney general, and it all comes down from the DOJ. They're totally coordinated. This in Washington because I'm the leading candidate. I'm leading Biden by 10 points, and I'm leading the Republicans by 50 and 60 points. That's pretty much, they say, over. I never accept that, but they say it's over. This has to do with election interference, plain and simple. They're trying to damage me so that I don't do as well as I'm doing in the election. Businesses are fleeing New York because of horrible, horrible attorney generals and judges like we have. They go to other places where they can be treated fairly and with respect. Thank you very much, everybody.
All right, let's go back to Shri at this point. Shri, it's a scam, it's a sham, it's a witch hunt, it's election interference. The Attorney General is a horrible, terrible person. The judge should be disbarred. Of course, everyone is corrupt and dishonest but Donald Trump, a paragon of virtue. That's Donald Trump. Give us a lowdown on all the drama that unfolded in the Manhattan court yesterday.
So, Neha, as you can imagine, it was a day full of drama yesterday inside the courthouse and outside the courthouse, where Trump was speaking to, media and also tweeting on Truth Social on the judge, making personal attacks, not just on the district attorney, Letitia James, but also the judge. One thing Mr. Trump does very successfully is to conflate issues. In this case, obviously, he's got multiple indictments which he's facing. But this is a very different case. This is basically on the fact that Trump and Trump Organization and his sons inflated the valuation of properties to be able to take loans from banks and therefore profit unduly through fraud. So that is the primary allegation, and this dates back to as far back as 2011, Neha. And there is the judge has looked at the evidence, and in the previous September ruling has already come to the conclusion that yes, there was fraud that happened. So now the trial that's happening is basically on what sort of a punitive damage to be put on the Trump organization, and how to deal legally with the fact that the Trump organization and the Trumps have defrauded and basically cooked up their books in some sense in terms of the valuation of assets. So whether it'll be $250 million or much more than that. So, but Mr. Trump is able to conflate all this into one issue, which is the fact that he is a presidential Republican nominee for 2024 and a very, very, by far the most popular Republican candidate. Therefore, he's able to bring those issues together. But whereas the fact is, this is a very separate issue. This has been something which the court has looked into and has said that it has been going on since 2011. And this matters tremendously to Mr. Trump because, he's a man who loves to have his a name on buildings, right? Trump Tower, Trump Plaza, and everything else. So if, if, for example, the courts decide that he cannot operate business in India, or the buildings or the assets he owns in New York are given into receivership, or they are liquidated to pay for the damages, the court damages, and the suit that the Attorney General from New York has brought against them, then it means that it's a very big personal blow for Trump, the real estate magnate, because by touting his success as a real estate developer, as a man who could create magic, he went on to become a very popular television star. From that, he went on to become a wild card entrant into US politics. And guess what? He ended up beating Hillary Clinton to become the US president. And now he's running again for, a presidentship. So, if that story is taken away, if people are told that, he built this empire based on lies and the fact that he was not really worth, the billions that he claimed to be, then that is going to be a huge personal setback to brand Trump, Neha. And that's why, we saw Mr. Trump in the court there yesterday, because he has not gone for many other trials. He's chosen not to go. His lawyers have gone. But in this case, he went personally because he needed to be out in front, of the media, of the narrative from the district attorney, to tell people directly, his voter base directly, that I'm the victim here. I'm not the one who stole or misled anyone.
Right, and how dare anyone accuse Donald Trump of not being a multi-billionaire?